So you think you're ready to daily a motorcycle, huh? You want to be about that life. No car, no safety net, just you, your bike, and whatever delusions of grandeur that have led you to this moment. Look, I get it. We've all had these kind of romantic notions. Splitting through traffic during rush hour, no expensive car payment every day, feeling like a special occasion. People will see you pull into work, the grocery store, the dentist's office, and think, wow, look at that free spirit. He really has it all figured out, hasn't he? What they don't see is the grind set that being motorcycle only requires. They don't see the LinkedIn levels of mindset shift you'd need to embark on. They don't see you trying to get a suitcase to the airport at 4 a.m. on the back of your motorcycle. Living with just a bike is impractical, but not impossible. And by following our good word that we're talking about today, you too can be an ultra-based, motorcycle-only person. Let's get into it. Okay, first things first, you need to choose a motorcycle that is actually capable of being used as functional transportation. I know that sounds really obvious, but clearly it's not, because a shocking amount of people will try to be motorcycle only and think that they can daily a super sport. If you sell your car to get a 600 or a 1000cc sport bike while deluding yourself into thinking that it can be your only form of transportation, you've already lost the plot. To try and commute, get groceries, or run errands every single day on a sport bike is a form of self-harm. To be motorcycle only, your bike, in theory, needs to be comfortable, easy to ride, and capable of doing boring life stuff without skipping a beat. You don't want to come out to your garage with your computer bag and hear your bike grumble like an aging millennial that they have to do some real adulting today. You want your bike to have upright ergonomics, decent fuel range, reasonable reliability, and ideally some way to mount luggage without having to jerry-rig some scaffolding onto your subframe. It should be a bike that you can just hop on without thinking twice about where you're going or how long you're going to be riding. There is a time and place for fun, wild weekend bikes, and that would be on the weekend. And then there is a time for the practical everyday motorcycles, every day. Think of something like a middleweight ADV bike, a Japanese dual sport with a large aftermarket gas tank, a middleweight naked bike with luggage and a windscreen. Hell, even a scooter can be a daily if you don't have to spend too much time on the freeway here in America. They're not the fire-breathing dream machines you see carving up twisties, but getting that ideal motorcycle only goes so far if you can't carry anything with you. Let's talk about some really sexy stuff. Luggage. Oh yeah, leather-bound. We're going there. Even though it's easier than ever to have toilet paper and paper towels delivered directly to your home merely 2 hours after you added it to your cart, being motorcycle only is still impossible if your bike is not set up to carry anything other than the operator. You need real storage. I know, it's lame, it's dorky, and I still can't help but wonder how many ground-up Filipino children someone is smuggling when they've got that massive 100-liter bug-out cache on the back of their bike. While you don't need to go that extreme, just a backpack will not cut it. Trust me. Don't try to set a grocery bag between your legs or dangle it off the end of your handlebar either. You need actual, usable, consistent storage. Tail bags, saddle bags, tank bags, or one of those aforementioned top boxes if you really are about that life. You'll never have quite the same level of storage capacity as a car, but the ability to handle your work stuff, some groceries, some random odds and ends is essential. But really, it's never been easier to make do with simple, functional storage on your bike because it's so easy to get everything delivered to your house. Groceries, TVs, tires, you name it. As that technology improves, it only becomes easier to exclusively ride a motorcycle. Hey, I guess there is a plus side to living in this techno-consumerist hellscape we all find ourselves in. Neat! I've seen some unbelievable feats of motorcycling while hauling things using rock straps, creativity, milk crates, and just pure old-fashioned gumption. You got spare tires wrapped around their body like a floaty, new microwave ratchet strapped to the subframe, and a rescue kitten stowed away in the basket up front near the front fender. Truly remarkable. But now that you've got storage covered, there's another obstacle you have to deal with. How do you ride every day, regardless of what's happening with the weather? Listen, if you want to be motorcycle only, you've certainly thought about the weather. I highly doubt you sold your car, woke up one day, and were totally blindsided by the concept of rain. I think bad weather has got to be one of the main reasons people give up on dailying a motorcycle or just don't even try riding a bike in the first place. But a little preparation goes a long way. Remember, boys, we're living in the future. It's not 1978 anymore, where if a rainstorm hits you and your buddies on your cross-country pilgrimage to Sturgis, you're wrapping up in garbage bags and duct tape in order to stay dry. Modern gear is super good. Jackets and boots have waterproof layers and thermal liners, there's heated grips, heated gloves, and wind protection. And all this technology is plentiful and really effective. You can ride in the rain and still end up at your destination relatively dry. You can ride in the cold and not lose feelings in the old family jewels. You just have to set yourself up for it. Keeping rain gear on your bike is a lifesaver during those unexpected spring rainstorms, which you can do if you have luggage. The Democrats control the weather, so you cannot believe what it says on the weather app. Once you experience biblical levels of precipitation on a day with a 0% chance of rain and blue skies, you'll know this to be true. Cold weather is more detrimental than wet. Heated and insulated gear is worth paying for. It can make riding in near freezing temperatures surprisingly bearable. Remember, it is typically 20 degrees colder than the outside temp when you're riding at speed, so even though it's 60 and sunny, you'll probably start to feel pretty uncomfortable after a while. Paying what it costs to get good heated gear is pretty non-negotiable if you intend on riding every single day of the year. But beyond gear, you have to understand how the bike will behave as the weather changes. Riding in the rain isn't hard, it's not rocket science, but the margin for error on your inputs does decrease. Choppy throttle or abrupt braking is more likely to cause a loss of traction if the roads are wet, especially on painted lines or metal grates. If you're going to ride your motorcycle every day, then you should definitely skip the Hypersport tires. Get some nice sport touring tires that will not only serve you better in wet or cold conditions, they're also going to last a lot longer. Weather doesn't have to be a deal breaker, it's just the easiest excuse for people to wimp out.
For 2026, we mixed it up a little bit. No more middleweight sport bikes. This Aprilia Tuono V4 Factory is our newest giveaway motorcycle, and it is truly a spicy little meatball. Listen to that thing. Head over to the website, become a member for your best chance to win. Now, if you'll excuse me, you can get back to watching the video. I'm going to take this thing for a ride.
So even if you've got the perfect air-cooled dual sport with saddlebags and a milk crate and you're fully prepared to ride through government-manufactured weather events, there are still going to be situations where a motorcycle just doesn't make sense. And you need to accept that and plan for it. This is where a lot of people take the concept of motorcycle only too literally. It doesn't mean no cars ever, like you've signed some sort of blood oath with the Freemasons that run the Iron Butt Association. Being motorcycle only means you don't own a car, not that you won't be forced to use one sometimes. There's going to be moments when a motorcycle just isn't the right tool. Maybe you bought a desk, or a mattress, or some lawn equipment. Yeah, probably better to borrow a car from a friend or rent a pickup truck from Home Depot for like $40 a day as opposed to trying to tough it out on the bike and accidentally recreate a scene from Final Destination. Having a plan for alternatives to the motorcycle is pretty much essential. You need to accept that there will be situations where two wheels just isn't an option. Even if you have to borrow a car from a friend, rent a car once or twice a year, or just take an Uber every so often, you're still coming out ahead compared to owning a car that you only use 5% of the time. An old beater is going to require care and maintenance to keep it roadworthy, and a newer car is going to require a monthly payment, a big upfront cash payment, pricey insurance, or some combination of all three. If you don't have a backup plan, when you inevitably run into one of these situations, you'll find yourself in a jam. You're going to get frustrated and start questioning the whole concept of being a based motorcycle-only person. If you have a plan, an escape hatch, if you will, these instances will be nothing more than an infrequent, minor inconvenience. Perhaps the optimal solution is owning some sort of 90s Toyota pickup truck and an air-cooled Japanese dual sport. Maybe you got some land way out west in an unincorporated city to truly become ungovernable. If that's you, leave a comment down below, but something tells me you're probably not connected to the internet. Remember to wipe your hard drives using your mobile degaussing chamber. When your motorcycle stops being a toy and becomes a utilitarian fixture of your life that you must rely on, it becomes even more important that you maintain it properly. When you're piling on tens of thousands of miles each year, maintenance is far more frequent than it is for the weekend warrior. It's a machine you rely on, so little issues can become massive inconveniences. If you're a fair weather rider who takes the bike out every other weekend, you can probably put off lubing or cleaning your chain for months on end. I'm gonna be totally honest, I definitely do that sometimes. If you commute on the bike, chain maintenance is going to become a near weekly occurrence. Not just because of the increased mileage, but because you'll be subjecting it to varying weather conditions on the regular. It's the same deal with checking your tires. If as a commuter you're doing quadruple the mileage of a hobbyist, you're gonna burn through tires more frequently. If you're riding daily as the temperature swings wildly between cold and hot, it is important to stay on top of tire pressure. I talk to you guys about this all the time. When's the last time you checked your PSI? When you rely on your bike as your main form of transportation, you'll be more reluctant to do extensive modifications or customizations. Sure, quick bolt-ons here or there aren't going to inconvenience you all too much, if at all. But doing projects where unforeseen hiccups could leave you without a vehicle for a couple of days should be avoided. If you can't resist the siren call of the snap-on tool chest, then have a separate project bike, and then leave your daily bike basic, functional, and unmolested. You want to know what runs forever? Stock unmodified Hondas. Just set it and forget it. You want to be able to turn the key and go every single morning. Remove the friction. Friction is the invisible force quietly holding back your potential. The reason you didn't become a CEO this morning. The reason I almost didn't make this video today. Why? Because my coffee machine required me to press 2 buttons instead of 1. That is friction. Most people would accept this. But high performers, we investigate, we optimize, we eliminate. This is why Blockbuster failed, Radio Shack, Circuit City. I will not be like those big box electronic stores. It's all about your mindset. Optimize friction out of your garage. By this point, you might be questioning my sanity and thinking, okay, so this is really hard. Why would I want to be motorcycle only? First of all, having just a motorcycle compared to a motorcycle and a car is cheaper. Cars are getting ridiculously expensive for practically no reason. The average price of a new car nowadays is 50 grand. That's a real stat. Look it up. To get anything halfway cool or fun is going to cost like 30 grand at a minimum, unless you want a project, which, trust me, you don't. The only thing less cool than owning a car is owning a project car. Secondly, it's much easier to navigate traffic. A motorcycle is smaller, more nimble, easier to accelerate quickly and brake efficiently. Lane splitting is legal in some places and legally ambiguous in others. Lane filtering is safer for riders, better for traffic flow, and overall a net positive for society. If you don't believe that, you should get off Facebook and read a book. Thirdly, be the change you want to see in the world. Why should a single person use a 5,000-pound SUV to take them to work and back every day? That's insane and kind of ridiculous with regard to efficiency. Be selfless. Make the sacrifice because it's the right thing to do. Less wear and tear on our roads, too. Lastly, it's just cool. Motorcycles are cool, always have been, always will be. Sipping a 32-ounce latte loaded with sugar, mainlining mindless podcasts, all while sitting in a car scrolling TikTok at a stoplight is NPC slug behavior. Again, be the change. Be mindful. Be cognizant of where you're at and how you interact with the world around you. Break loose from the chains that bind you. Are you ready to join my cult? Sign up in the link down below. Is being a total savage worth all the trade-offs we talked about? I guess that's for you to decide. I'm not going to tell you how to think. But if you're going to do it, be smart about it, and you're far more likely to be successful. Thanks for making it to the end of today's video. As always, I appreciate it. I will catch you in the next one. Fact: in 1518, dozens of people in France started dancing non-stop until they collapsed or died. Goodbye.